Alex Crook, you're with us. You've been at talkSPORT building all day today, breaking the latest news and all the transfers that are going on. What's the latest at 7 o'clock in the transfer window?
Well, we're still waiting. We're still waiting for confirmation that Chelsea's mega money, their British record offer for Enzo Fernandez, has been formally accepted by Benfica. Their president, Rui Costa, has driven a really hard bargain. We know that Fernandez is undergoing a medical in Portugal as we speak, so that suggests that this deal is close, but we've got, as you say, less than 4 hours until the window closes and still not over the line. I kind of think Chelsea have to get this done. They've invested so much energy, not just today and yesterday, but at the start of the window as well. They are determined that they won't return home on that plane that's been waiting on the runway in Portugal since last night without their man Enzo Fernandez. You mentioned Jorginho there. Yep. We understand that deal is done at Arsenal. £12 million move from Chelsea, an 18-month contract signed. We're just waiting for official confirmation from the club. Everton scrambling around very late in the window. There's been an inquiry for Michy Batshuayi, the former Chelsea striker whose name seems to come up every transfer window. He doesn't seem keen on the move to Goodison Park, and who would be at this moment in time? But surely they need to sign at least one player in these final hours of the window, because the rest of the teams at the bottom of the table, particularly down on my patch, Bournemouth and Southampton, where I live on the south coast, they've done big business in the last 48 hours. Yeah,
they certainly have. I mean, look, Sean Dyche as well, going back to Everton, surely he's gone in there to Farhad Mashiri and said, Kev, look, I need some money to spend. The squad's not good enough. You know, we're second bottom. You've got to give me something, anything.
Yeah, I think you want a sign of progress and a sign that you're taking the relegation battle seriously. That was interesting, though, in his first interview, he was very keen to stress that the quality is there. They do have some players that he can work with. They've got players he believes he can get more out of than previous managers. Yep. Yeah, absolutely, than previous managers have. So I think what he's doing there is he's insulating them against failure in the transfer market, because if they don't manage to bring anybody in, then he can say, well, look, I said from the get-go it was about making the most of what I have. So we'll have to see how that goes, but it's not a great look when you're scrambling around trying to bring somebody in.
The other deal that we're tracking, and we're literally using a flight tracker for that, Marcel Sabitzer on his way from Germany to Manchester. There's a car waiting to pick him up at Manchester Airport, presumably to complete a medical. The deal all agreed with Bayern Munich. It's a straight loan deal until the end of the season, no option to buy. This is a short-term fix for Manchester United, having lost Christian Eriksen till April after a horrendous tackle from Andy Carroll in the FA Cup at the weekend. And it could be a smart piece of business. If they get the Sabitzer that did so well at RB Leipzig, it will be a good addition, but he has struggled at Bayern Munich.
It's one of those rare deals, I think, that suits everybody, because you have a situation where he was brought in at the start of last season, and he'd worked with Julian Nagelsmann before at Leipzig. He had worked very well with Nagelsmann because Nagelsmann had changed the player he was. He was a very attacking player. He was somebody who could play wide, but primarily an attacking midfielder. And he made him more into a six. He made him more into a defensive midfielder.
Which is what United need, really.
Yeah, and because he's got those two skill sets now, I think he's ready to make an impact at United. He's just suffered, really, at Bayern from the fact that Joshua Kimmich's ahead of him, Leon Goretzka's ahead of him, and they've made a gamble that Ryan Gravenberch, who they brought in, very, promising young player, but hasn't played a huge amount. But they're making the gamble that he's going to be better for them in the long run than Sabitzer is.
Just before you go, Crookie, I know you'll be with us throughout the evening. I know you're a very busy man. Best value money signing so far this January transfer window. Who do you think's done the best deal and makes sense for everyone financially?
Wow.
Because we've seen a few crazy ones, haven't we? And we'll talk about Chelsea a bit later.
Yeah, that's a good question. As a whole, I quite like the business that Wolves have done. I think they've really backed Lopetegui, and I think they're in a far better position to stay up now. Craig Dawson, what was that? £3.3 million?
Well, I think Sarabia for £5 is a really good piece of business, because really smart player, really experienced, has played well in the Champions League, has played well at international level. Lopetegui knows him from youth football in Spain. He brought him into the under-19s originally, and then he played for him in the 21s. So I think if he stays fit, he could make a real impact for them.
Trossard for £27 million as well. I think we saw the impact that he can make in that FA Cup game, Arsenal against Man City on Friday. And even if he's an impact sub for the rest of the season. That's not a bad weapon to have coming off the bench.
Yeah, I think if Danny Ings can get fit, and I guess it's a big if, isn't it? Because it's always been blighted by injuries. But I think 12 million, what was it, 12 million for Danny Ings? He'll get you 10 goals between now and the end of season, I think. And that
10?
could be enough for West Ham. All competitions, Europe as well. Right, anyway, Crookie, you can get out of here, Crookie. I know you move us a bit later. His phone keeps going off, by the way. He's speaking to everyone, agents, chairman, managers.
It's a fake phone. It's not a real
Is it
phone.
not real?
You know that, right?
He's tricked me for years. He really has.